Ladies and gentlemen, it is a weird, wild world out there, and here we stand, folks, al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob Grams, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the ProBoh Show for this Tuesday evening. If you're listening on phone radio, it's currently Wednesday morning, 8:30. How you doing? If you're in Madrid, it's a day off. You lucky, lucky people. Everywhere else in Spain, you have to work. It's currently 8 p.m. right here in Central European time, and I don't know. I should do the basic research, and I and be able to tell you all what time it is. Maximum effort, maximum pain, exactly. How are you doing, Gandalf? We've got Gandalf, we've got Coco Lavender, we've got Chusky Trusky, all these amazing people in the chat. How are you doing, friends? What do we have coming up in today's show? Well, let me tell you, friends. Let me tell you. First off, in our Complete the News section, we're going to Scotland to look at a museum, and we're going to look at the Norwegian royal family in today's Complete the News. In 100 Humans, we're going to get some relationship advice. I'll find out where not to get it, to be more precise. But that's all in the second half, folks. Today we've got a good unpopular opinion. An actual... popular, unpopular opinion again, I think. But this isn't one of mine. A few days ago, I asked for your unpopular opinions. And Rafa Remuz, R-E-M-U-Z, on Instagram, gave me a good one. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of thoughts about this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of thoughts. In fact, I think Coco Lavender made a really great point. I need to pull that up in my chat on my phone. Oh my god, guys. So how are we doing out there? But that's coming up later. Before we do that, I'm here, you're here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the world. Well, friends, let me tell you. People magazine named their sexiest man of 2000 in the world, 2022. And again, for like the 20th year running, they've spelt my name wrong. It's Chris Evans, folks. It's Chris Evans. You may know him as Captain America. Do you know? I just want to, like, do they do sexiest woman in the world? Hang on, wait. People magazine. I don't know. Do they do sexiest woman in the world? I feel like that wouldn't fly today. Sexiest woman alive? Hang on, wait, they do it. No, they don't. I don't know, whatever. I feel objectified. I'm going to be honest. Stop setting unfair beauty targets or handsomeness targets, People magazine. Hashtag us too, you know. How do you feel about that, guys? Chris Evans, Captain America. Do you think he would have won it had he not played Captain America? Because let's be honest, it is a sexy role. I mean, I'm a straight middle-aged man, and I'll be honest, you know. Him and Henry Cavill, they're on the list. Let's see what people are saying. It was Rob Grams. No, you can't because it's sexiest. Because it's sexist, exactly. I prefer Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. That's from Nuria Tam. How you doing, Nuria? Welcome. Yeah, really? Hasn't he won it? I think he's won it before. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman's won it. Paul Rudd has won it. Chris Evans has won it. Basically, to be the sexiest man alive, you have to play a superhero. So next Halloween, I know what my outfit's going to be. See, I made the mistake this year while they were counting the votes. I made the mistake of dressing as Kiss instead of, I don't know, insert superhero here. Yeah, I don't know. People take this kind of thing seriously. Let's. I'm looking at the article from People magazine right now. It's in front of me. Apparently, Chris Evans says his mum will be so happy. She's proud of everything I do, but this is something she can really brag about. Really, Chris? The fact that you played Captain America, you're a multi-millionaire. She's not bragging about that. If I know anything about mums, she's got plenty of stuff to brag about. How you doing, Bridge? Welcome, welcome. I try to imagine you as a superhero. Yeah, I'm much more of the villain archetype. You know, I'd be all right being a super villain. Or one of those neither good nor bad, chaotic neutral. That's what I would be. Kind of like your modern day Lex Luthor. Fellow bald man, why not? Pierce Brosnan will almost turn me, says Gandalf. Yeah, it's Henry Cavill for me. If it doesn't work out for me and Ladybug. Although he's not the Witcher now, so, you know. He's gone down in my estimation. Did you hear about that, guys? That Henry Cavill's no longer the Witcher? The speculation is that the writers, or at least this is a speculation. God, I hate YouTube. There is nothing worse than fans to ruin things for you. People who take things just so damn seriously. But either way, you know, I'm kind of addicted to these YouTube kind of think pieces about every kind of property that Marvel and DC make. And apparently Henry Cavill is he left the show because of disagreements with the Witcher writers. Apparently they didn't like, or they mocked the source material, which if you didn't know, Witcher is not a game series. Well, it is, but primarily it was a book series by a famous Polish writer. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I mean, dude, you know, am I going to stop watching The Witcher because Henry Cavill's not in it? Yes. But to be honest, I would have stopped watching it anyway. I was getting bored. Hello, my friend. How are you doing, Jerry? And welcome back. It's been a while. Sorry I'm late, says the bridge. Better late than never. Can the last person in please close the door behind them? That would be Emily. Don't let anyone else in. We've got the quality here now. At least that is what my wife says about me. Why are people so superficial when the world will... When will the world overcome the middle age? I have no idea. I don't know when will... But you see, the thing is, like, all I've seen on Twitter today are people swooning over Henry Cavill. Not Henry Cavill, over Chris Evans. You know, with his man boobs and his great ass, whatever. I just imagine myself doing that with a picture of a scantily clad girl and all the hate and judgment I would get. I mean, it's not the kind of thing I would do, but whatever. Let's revel in it. It doesn't bother me. Good for you, Chris Evans. I hope your mum's proud. It's like, this is something she can really brag about, he says. Like she wasn't bragging about the Captain America thing, whatever. You know what annoys me most about Chris Evans? He's younger than me. 41 years old. Sexiest man alive. Whatever. Go home, Chris. No one cares. Let's see what people are saying. Emily's here. What's happening, folks? What have I missed? Nothing much just yet. We're just talking about the news, Emily. Same here. I'm not watching it with the lesser-known Hemsworth. Well, the real lesser-known Hemsworth is the guy that was in Westworld. Hemsworth the Third. This is the guy who was in Hunger Games. You know, Chris is the real meal ticket in the Hemsworth clan. And then the second best known one, he's going to be the Witcher. He really doesn't strike me as a gruff enough dude, like a big manly man. I mean, like, he doesn't strike me as that kind of Witcher presence, but whatever. Makeup can do wonders. He has a great ass, agrees Emily. He does. It's America's ass, and it's wonderful. Oh, someone won the 2.7 billion Powerball. A single winner. Oh my God. Ask them to buy Twitter back. I can't imagine you play another league. Interesting people. All right, what else can I tell you about? More comic book news. I'm sorry, I hate to do... Chris Evans being the sexiest man alive, 2022. There's another flawed concept. Who was 2021, right? Who was 2021, and why is he less sexy? Now he's 1 year older. That's my question. What did he do? Get a bad haircut? What did Chris Evans do this year that he didn't do last year? You know, it's BS, guys. It's bullshit. That's what it is. The ass of America, says the bridge. Do you know what I mean? How does that work? Why wasn't it... Was Chris Evans uglier last year? And whoever was 2021's sexiest man, were they just like... You know, did they have a better haircut? Did they have a better stylist? I don't know. Weird. You know, I recognize I'm sounding jealous and petty right now, so I'm going to move on. Wakanda Forever, guys. Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther. Most of you know this. Chadwick Boseman, the guy who was playing T'Challa, the Black Panther in the Marvel Universe, sadly passed away of cancer. And they went ahead and made a sequel anyway. Now, I was really kind of hoping they would recast T'Challa so we didn't lose the character. You know, I kind of think that these characters transcend the actors that play them. And don't get me wrong, you know, I think T'Challa was I think he was a great T'Challa. I think it was an absolute tragedy that he passed away. But you know what I mean? I don't understand why we had to lose Iron Man. Just recast him, man. Does it matter? How many James Bonds have we had? How many Batman? Come on. Doesn't matter. No one cares. Jariam says, maybe Chris Evans killed the last one. Is that how it works? Is that how the Sexiest Man Alive works? They kill the predecessor. Like the Highlander, there can be only one. Take care of Chris Evans, man. I like that guy. I mean, who is actually the world's sexiest man? You know what I mean? Because if I ask my best friend, Andrea, she's going to say Jason Momoa. You know, isn't it so subjective? Like, sexiness? I don't know. I don't want to say, see, I'm talking about it again, and I sound bitter. Chris Evans has America's ass, though. True story, he does. It's America's ass. So yeah, Ryan Coogler returned for the sequel of Wakanda Forever. And I'll be honest, I was kind of dubious about this. A Black Panther movie without Black Panther in it. Why not recast T'Challa? You know, I don't know. Well, the Rotten Tomato scores, the review embargo has been lifted, and the Rotten Tomato scores have been released. And right now, as of now, the Rotten Tomato scores for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is 94%, my friends. 94%. I've read a bunch of reviews, and people are saying this is not only better than not only kind of a great movie, it's probably one of the best Marvel movies ever made. So I'm quite excited to see this one, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little bit down on this movie. I thought, well, if you're not gonna recast T'Challa, you know, don't make another film. But apparently, this one's pretty great. I won't give you any more spoilers. But rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I think he would have wanted someone to take up the mantle of T'Challa after him anyway. But whatever. Let's see what people are saying. Emily, Chadwick Boseman is a very good to the community. I wouldn't want to see him recast. It's bad enough Tom Cruise is looking to play Tony Stark. Is that true? Tom Cruise is going to play Tony Stark? In what world? Look, Tony Stark is an alcoholic womanizer. Brilliant casting with Robert Downey Jr. You know, Tony Stark wasn't a Scientologist. I know how acting works. Calm yourselves down. And if that did make you angry, remember, I love to make you angry. Your tears are delicious, and your anger only makes me more powerful. All right. So, yeah, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. 94%. It's a mighty score, friends. And interesting, so Emily doesn't think Chadwick should have been recast. You know, I can respect that. I can respect it. I really can. I get it. And he was great in the role. And he was a great actor. Yeah, and he cast a pretty big shadow. Whoever took over the role, it would have been a real uphill struggle for them to be adopted well in the universe. So I get it. I get it. I just personally think that the characters should transcend the actors that play them. A lot like Batman, a lot like Doctor Who, a lot like I don't know, James Bond, like a ton of these characters. But anyway, whatever. I would personally, I would hate to see Tom Cruise play Tony Stark. That would be a bit of a nightmare for me. I don't know why he has to run in every movie. He's like 60 years old. Why can't he just sit down and relax? Do a nice drama, Tom. A period drama. What else can I tell you about? Oh, dude, Mariah Carey. Did you remember when I did this news story about Mariah Carey being sued because she's calling herself the Queen of Christmas? Do you remember that? That someone already holds that title apparently, and she was being sued by that person. Emily says, Doctor Who, did you watch the last special? I did not. I've kind of fallen off the Doctor Who train, Emily. I've fallen off the Doctor Who train. I have. I'm waiting till a new writer comes in, a new showrunner. Chris Chibnall is not my... he's not very good for me. I'm waiting for the next guy to come in, or girl to come in and see the next, and pick up from there. So yeah, Mariah Carey, she was sued because she calls herself the Queen of Christmas. She was sued by a lady who already held that title for some reason. She's Mariah Carey. I will post this link on my Patreon. Mariah Carey released a tweet today, suggesting that it's now Christmas time. Why? Because she said so. She says November the 1st. Well, this was actually a few days ago. A week ago, to be exact. November the 1st is officially the start of the Christmas holidays. That's BS. What are you, Mariah Carey? Are you like a groundhog now? Do you like look outside your window, see a shadow, and all of a sudden it's Christmas time? Go away, Mariah Carey. Go home, you drunk. Go home, you drunk. Just because you released All I Want for Christmas, without a shadow of a doubt, the most tiresome Christmas song known to man. I mean, the best Christmas song, can we agree? One day we'll do this as an unpopular opinion. Best Christmas song ever, Eartha Kitt, Santa Baby. And, and I decree that as fact. Santa Baby. Oh, dude. Eartha Kitt had it going on, man. So, yeah, she says from November 1st. But the thing is, in America, she's American, right? In America, you have Thanksgiving in between then. You haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. Wouldn't that screw things up for you guys? Chuske, I haven't seen Black Panther because it's probably more of the same hero stuff. Is it really worth the time? Does it bring anything new? Yeah, I would say it does. And culturally speaking, to have a superhero of colour take up such a prestigious role, showing a really advanced African civilization. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a real cultural statement. And Ryan Coogler is a great director. So, yeah, I did really enjoy the first Black Panther. But if you're not into superhero movies, maybe give it a miss. Trusky. Maybe you won't enjoy it so much. Carey needs to be put in jail for disturbing the peace. She does, dude. She does. Agreed, Emily. I would give you a ProBoh approved, but my phone isn't working. I'll give you an analog ProBoh approved. ProBoh approved. I was born on Groundhog's Day. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's been going strong at Hobby Lobby since July. Screw Christmas in the butt. It's too early. It is too early. Did every year they put the lights up earlier? Aren't we going through an energy crisis? You know what I mean? How the hell can they afford to put so many Christmas tree lights up? You know what I mean? Just put a few tea light candles. Chill out, everyone. We all know it's Christmas. We don't need the constant reminders. Mariah Carey, this is Nuryatam, created a Christmas song, and she must be earning such a mountain of money. Dude, the royalties that woman must earn just from that song. And can anyone name another Mariah Carey song? They've just been sucked into the black hole of her Queen of Christmas persona. You know what I mean? Ugh. I'm just fighting the apathy so hard right now to talk about Mariah Carey. A song made in 10 minutes. The best minutes of her life in terms of money, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I will agree to that. I wouldn't mind putting up with the lights, but not turning them on right now. In the Midwest, you have to get them up while the weather supports it. I understand. Yeah, it's always good weather, really, in Madrid, respectively speaking. I understand that, some parts of the year are hotter and some parts of the year are colder, but apart from when we had the Philomena, apart from when we had the big snowstorm, there's no debilitating weather here in Madrid. You know what I mean? We're very, very lucky in that respect. There was lots of stuff I wanted to talk about, guys, but there am I complaining about Mariah Carey and being all bitter that People Magazine just, they snubbed me for World's Sexiest Man again. They don't even reach out to apologise, folks. It's terrible. All right, you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to go to today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Oh, God, I hope people don't take me seriously. I hope you listen to me on the radio or on the podcast, you beautiful podcast listeners from the sky, you beautiful angels. Don't take me too seriously. I'm an idiot. Do remember that. Okay. You need to watch Doctor Who. Maybe I will. I do know that around the time of the special, there are a lot of people talking about it, which means it was probably pretty good. Work through the crappy writing and get the episode summaries from YouTube to the last episode and then watch it. David Tennant is back. Yeah, I did like Tennant, but I'll be honest, I like Damon Targaryen. He was my favourite Doctor Who. Another unpopular opinion for another time. All right, what's an unpopular opinion? Usually, I have a pedocerebral. I have a brain fart. And I post it on social media. But today, one of our wonderful listeners, Rafa Remuth, had an unpopular opinion. Today, we're going to debate it. Let me pull it up for our friends in the audience. People should have to pass a political competency test before being allowed to vote. People should have to take a test of their political competency before being allowed to vote. Believe it or not, friends, this is an actual thing. This is, it's not democracy, it's called an epistocracy. Okay, and it basically means that every individual should have to prove their political competency, their knowledge of the political system, political history, and unless they do, they're not allowed to vote. The thought being that the undereducated masses do not have the required capacity to be able to make an informed decision in matters of politics. Discuss, my friends, discuss. What do you think about this? I mean, on the surface, you'd be tempted to say, okay, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds reasonable, right? I mean, we all lived through Brexit. We lived through Donald Trump. Look at the American midterm elections right now. It seems, the rhetoric around the midterm elections is ridiculous. Donald Trump is looking like he's going to make another bid for the presidency. You can see why people, or the word epistocracy is starting to come back into fashion. There is actually a brilliant book I can recommend about this. Yes, I do secretly read books. It's called Against Democracy by Jason Brennan, and it's about epistocracy. I'm not recommending this book so you read it and then take this as the gospel, because I'm not 100% sold on this. However, I do believe the masses need to be better educated. Here's my problems with this. I mean, I think the benefits kind of speak for themselves, right? A more educated political or a more educated voters would make better political decisions, right? But who designs the test? Who designs the test? In fact, it was our very own Coco Lavender who said today, false, because politicians could use that to exclude people who are more likely to vote for other political parties, and in general terms, it doesn't seem fair. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that kind of tend to lean towards a lack of education for voting blocs that don't agree with you? Are we setting a difficult or a dangerous precedent by marking intelligence or political competency as a bar? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, it would tend to discriminate against lower education or less educated people, right? Which would in turn which would basically discriminate against the poor. And most of every country's poor community are immigrants and minorities. And I don't agree with that, obviously. But I do agree something needs to be done because people need to be better educated, right? So I don't know what the answer is, or at least I'm going to give you my proposed answer in the second part of the show. But yeah, should people have to take a test to prove their political competency before being allowed to vote? Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, they do in like 5th grade and 12th grade in US high school. Jariam says, and for quite a lot of other things, says Jariam. They have to understand the basic constitution amendments. However, if you go beyond that, leads to re-education camps. That's from Emily Gandalf. I'm pretty sure if Trump runs again, he will win. Yeah, I think so too. Chusky Trusky, I agree. That's why in Spain, Spain always wins the worst politicians. The worst politicians always win in Spain, says Chusky. The lack of education in Spain is a shame. But look, if you set the bar of education to be able to vote, then doesn't that make the political establishment? Doesn't that kind of almost give them the impetus, the reason to cut education, to dumb down the masses? Food for thought, guys. But this is not my unpopular opinion. This is Rafa's unpopular opinion, and it was such a good one. Thank you so much for this one, Rafa. I'm going to drop a poll in the chat. Friends, I would appreciate if you voted on that poll, and we'll see what you think after this break. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show.
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. If you've just tuned in, man, we spoke about how I lost Sexiest Man Alive 2022 again. Yeah, I was robbed. Hashtag, why do they hate bald people? No one's favourite hair colour, transparent. There you go. It's official, guys. We talked about Chris Evans winning Sexiest Man Alive 2022. He deserves it. You know what I mean? Good for him. He said his mum is going to be so proud. She's finally got something to brag about. Whatever, Chris. That sounds like such a humble brag to me. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about it. I know I sound bitter. I'm going to stop talking about it right now. Then we talked about Wakanda Forever getting robbed. Wakanda Forever landed on Rotten Tomatoes with 94%. I was a little bit doubtful, I will admit. I was a little bit doubtful about this movie. But it seems to be that it's great. You know, I'm going to give it a chance. I wasn't going to initially. I thought, Black Panther movie without Black Panther. But, I'm going to give it a go, friends. Whether you do or not, 94% speaks quite loudly to me. Although I'm not a big fan of Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think it's a very fair metric. We'll get into that in another time. Then we spoke about Mariah Carey being like the groundhog for Christmas, the Christmas season. Whatever, Mariah, go home, you're drunk. And then we got into today's unpopular opinion, which was people should have to pass a political competency test before being allowed to vote. This is something in politics. It's not a democracy, it's called an epistocracy. If you're interested in this subject, I can point towards the book Against Democracy by Jason Brennan. It's very good. And I'm going to say this. I think the problem is not a lack of education in terms of politics. If anything, most politicians before running should be given a political competency test, not the general public. I think what the general public are missing, because look, we're reacting to something that happened in 2016, 2015, 16. Here I'm talking about Brexit, Donald Trump, the rise in Europe and in the States of extremism or extreme populist kind of parties. Let's put it that way. Both of the main inciting incidents in both of these things were populist movements, right? The Leave campaign in the UK and Donald Trump's Donald Trump's rise to power. I'm trying to put this in a very delicate way because usually when I talk about this, I don't have to edit myself. Here's the thing that I identify. You've got giant swaths of people in both the UK and the US that were left unrepresented in the 90s. It used to be that the working classes voted Democrat in the States or in the UK Labour. That's why it's called the Labour Party. And then something weird happened in the 90s. In the 90s in the UK, it was not John Major. What's his name? Oh my God. Well, in the States, it was Bill Clinton, who turned the Democratic Party into much more of a centrist party. Tony Blair did it in England, turned the Labour Party into a centrist party. And all of a sudden, these huge swaths of people felt unspoken to, unrepresented in their government, which is just spoiling for some kind of political disaster, isn't it? When you leave people disenfranchised, where there's no one in power speaking directly to you. So all it takes is a small flame of someone speaking directly to them. In the case of the UK, it was Nigel Farage. In the case of the US, clearly it was Donald Trump. They don't even care that they tell the truth or not, and that can be borne witness in the States right now, and much to Britain's dismay, it's being borne right now. To be shown that if Brexit hadn't existed, this economic crisis that they're in wouldn't be as devastating as it is. The Bank of England are saying that they're going to be in a recession till 2024, man, a 2-year recession. So that's what happens when you leave people unrepresented. I mean, both these countries, I know there's more parties than just Democrat, Republican, or Conservative and Labour in England. I know there are more parties, but is there really a third option? Is there? No, it's a two-party system, and it's a two-party system for a reason. Okay? There is one side that argues for one general block of the population. There's another side that speaks to another. And when Labour kind of stopped doing that, they left people to be disenfranchised, and Democrats the same. So all it takes is one charismatic person to sound like they're talking directly to them to change a lot of hearts and minds. I think what needs to happen, rather than a re-education of the populace in political comings and goings, because let's not forget there is a huge information gap. Okay, there are things that are in the hands of politicians, information, knowledge that are in the hands of politicians that, quite frankly, I don't want to know. I don't want to know how many nukes are pointed at me right now. I don't want to know. I don't know how much danger that we're in. I don't want to know that. There's a massive population. There's a massive information gap. So I would say what needs to happen is more than an education in politics, an education in media, in how to identify the truth from fact from fiction. You know, I think I would say these populist leaders rose to power so quickly because of a spread of misinformation on social media. I mean, and that's not me making this up. Cambridge Analytica, do a quick search, do a search anywhere you want, Facebook. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, he had his little robot cyborg face in Congress. This is something that actually happened, folks. And look, you know, the world of news has become so polarized now. identifying fact from fiction, teaching people to follow stories, not publications, things like that. That's where education, for me, needs to lie, not necessarily in political competency, because what is political competency? For me, it might mean something very different from a Republican. For me, it might mean something very different from a Democrat. The older I get, the more central, the more I agree with certain parts of the argument from both aisles. So political competency for me is a very subjective term. And that's, I think, where I will leave this. But you know what? What I think doesn't really matter here, folks. What matters is what our live audience thinks. So let's see what they thought. Let's get a drum roll going on. People should have to pass a political competency test before being allowed to vote. Let's see what they voted. 100% said yes, they should. Oh my God, you guys. Yeah, everybody voting in favour of, abandoning democracy in favour of epistocracy. So good for you. Let's see what people are saying. Also, Rob, don't forget that today it's the midterm elections in the US. Good luck, guys. I'm not a Democrat, and if you belong to any other party, you're deplorable according to them. I just wanted to know who told them. I mean, look, and the same on the other side, the leftists. Come on. You can't tell me that the Democrats demonize more than the Republicans do, because that's just not the truth. Both sides are equally as deplorable as the other, That's one of the problems with politics today. Too much polarization, not enough sitting down and talking. Let's see. I voted via absentee ballot. I cannot drag Elijah to the ballot box. Effort. And plus, I don't know. I would not sure I would feel perfectly safe voting in the States right now. Seems to be a very charged political environment out there right now. Look at what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband. Look at the rhetoric that's going around. You've got the candidates in the midterm elections kind of saying, we'll never lose an election again if I've got anything to do with it. What does that mean? That's dangerous talk. That's that's bordering on fascism, what you're saying right there. Chill out, man. Anyway, wait a minute. Found the glasses and a hat. Yeah, I did, Ravnos. I'm here in my full uniform. People don't research anymore. They just believe the media they have decided to listen to. Yeah, exactly, Gandalf. I think that's a major problem. Trusky says, Donald is not the problem. The problem is people voting for him. Has anybody questioned why he might win again? What's going on with USA? Why are they all infected with the money virus? The whole world's infected with the money virus. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, so no one gives a crap about me. Yeah, there's a middle ground that we're sadly losing a little bit. Dialogue has become a reason to be offended, and all of a sudden being offended is the issue, not not what's being said, and I find that sad, man. Especially as someone who used to be in the funny business. Having to watch what I say so much, it's quite frustrating. Anyway, so that's the final thoughts, guys. You guys think 100% that people should have to pass a political competency test. I don't know if Rafa is here, but I'm definitely going to send him a message on Instagram, let him know that you all agreed with him. All right, friends, let's go to 100 humans. Oh my God, friends, a long walk to work today, across snow-capped mountains, then through river valleys, and I encountered 100 humans. And I asked them all a question, folks. I asked them to name the last person you go to for relationship advice. El último, the last person you would go to for relationship advice. I asked them that question, they gave me their answers. I have the 7 most popular here. Your job in the chat is to identify those top 7 answers. Woo! Are we ready, friends? Are we ready? All right, you guys are on fire right now. Look at you. Okay, let's start at the top. Your mother, says Emily. Your mum. Or your mom in the States. Your mother. Madre. Is it there? Is that the last person you'd go to for relationship advice? Is it there? The 100 humans say yes, and Emily, 30 of the 100 humans agreed with you. Your mum is the last person you should go to for relationship advice, making it first place. Emily took first place with the first answer. Well done. Well done to you. Ravdos and Nuryatam both say, and Chusky Trusky. Chusky, this one's for you. Sorry, I saw that one too late. All right, next. Your ex, Nuryatam and Ravdos both say your ex-partner. Worst person to go to for advice. Are you right? Your ex? Is it there? Well done. With 12 of the 100 humans saying your ex would be the worst person to ask for relationship advice. Well done, my friends. It's there. It's there. It's in third place. You guys are killing it today. Okay, Emily says your father, your pops. Can I just hang on a minute. Roll back a second. Your ex is the perfect person to ask for relationship advice from. No one knows who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Through my relationship history, I've remained in contact with the vast majority of my exes. Like, if I ever need a relationship reference, I know I'm going to get a good one. And you know what I mean? And if you've got a good relationship with them, ask them for advice. I would highly recommend it, because no one knows what you're like romantically better than an ex. That's just my hot take on that. So, who said father? It was Emily. Father. Is your father there? Well done. 18 of 100 humans say your father would be the worst person, the last person you should go to for relationship advice. Who are you supposed to ask if not your parent? Is that? I don't know. I don't know. I've never had those kind of conversations with my family, I'll be honest. Is this a good girl? Is she a good girl? Like, my mum is just so happy that I'm with someone. It doesn't matter. I could be with a serial killer. It's like, just stay away from the knife, son. She's a lovely girl. All right, where are we? Let's see. Ravdos says your pastor. Your pastor. Jareum says the Pope. Okay, your pastor, the Pope. Let's say clergy. Is clergy there? Oh my God, guys, you're killing it today. 7 of the 100 humans in 5th place, the clergy. Well done, guys. Oh my God. All right. Let's see. Let's continue. Where were we? Your ex, we read that one. Your grandparents. I think Emily's just listing off family members. Grandparents, is it there? No. Yeah, what would your grandparents say? Does she own her own horse? I don't know, like, what's... Relationships have evolved so much, right? What kind of a dowry can you expect? I don't know. Grandparents, your single, never been attached buddy. Your friend. Your buddy. Your single buddy. Yeah. Don't ever ask for relationship advice from a single person. You know what I mean? They've got no skin in the game, as we say. So, a single person. Is it there? No. It's not there, Ravdos. Chusky says particularly his mum. Don't ask his mum for advice. I mean, you know what I mean? It's there. Mum is there. Not your mum, just a mum. Let's see. A woman says Chusky Trusky. Come on. Chusky, come on. Emily says your cat. Jareum says his wife. Don't ask my wife. Although they are great answers, guys, they are not there. My mum. Okay, Emily says your mother-in-law. Your mother-in-law. Jareum says mother-in-law too. Although that is Jareum's stock answer. Mother-in-law. Is it there? Well done. Jareum at last. 6 of 100 humans agreed with you. Your mother-in-law would be the last person you go to for relationship advice. In 6th place with 6 of 100 humans, guys. Well done. Mother-in-law. Not my ex-husband. He's a compulsive liar. The 100 humans agree. He is. Bad man. Not if they hate you, says Ravtos. Let's see. Okay. I agree about the ex, says Chusky. Yeah, me too, man. It's a great person to ask for relationship advice. Emily says, ironically, the clergy can offer relationship counselling. Dude, I'm not going to take relationship counselling from people that are encouraged not to have sex. I said it. Whatever. My father and mother are dead, so I won't lose anything for asking, says Gandalf. Oh, Gandalf. Oh, man. Let's see. A barkeeper, barman. Is a barman the worst person to ask for relationship advice? I'll admit to talking relationship things with bar people a lot. You know, I'm alone. I just want to be in my own headspace and deal with my suffering. There's a bar person there. Sage-like advice. Okay, let's see. Those answers for entertainment value. I know. A monk, says Chusky. Donald Trump, says Gandalf. Yeah, he would not be a good person. Either way, they are not there. Barkeep is a good one. Good one to talk to because they hear it all. Yeah, they might have sage advice, exactly. All right, you're missing two. Ooh, a psychologist. I think that's who you're actually supposed to talk to. Jariam, says Chris Evans.
ProBoh approved.
He knows. Chris Evans knows. You don't get to be the sexiest man alive 2022 without knowing a thing or two about relationships. Okay, I'm going to give you a clue. Okay, the 7th place answer is the guy who signs your paychecks. Oh! Coco Lavender says co-worker. I'm going to give it to you. Boss, employer, co-worker. Coco Lavender did that without a clue. So we're going to give this to Coco Lavender. It's there with 6 of 100 humans saying a co-worker, boss, employer. It's in 7th place. Well done. Emily says a babysitter. What if you're in... Yeah, I don't know. That gets you in dirty territory, no? The babysitter. It's a terrible person to ask. Isn't she going to be like 13 years old with no life experience? Taxi driver, not there. Okay, the last one. It's another family member. Yeah. It's not your mum. It's not your dad. It's definitely not grandparents. Someone on at your level, let's say. Emma Lee says, brother and sister, is it there? Well done, friends. All right, let's go through the list, my friends. Let's do it. Okay, position number 7. Boss. You don't want to ask your boss for relationship advice. He'll just say, get back to work. It's not bothering me with this crap. That's what I would say. Really? That's very interesting. Save it for your own time. Okay, in position number 6 was mother-in-law. Oh, dude. Don't ask relationship advice from someone who is not on your side. Okay, in position number... Oh, no. Shut up. 100 humans. You're drunk. 5, exactly. Was the clergy. Don't ask the clergy. In position number 4 was brother. Don't ask your brother for relationship advice. In position number 3 was your ex. I don't agree with this. I think ex is a great person to ask. In position number 2 was your father. And in position number 1 was your mother. Well done. And it was Emily. Congratulations. Congratulations, Emily, for identifying mum. The first answer. Let's go straight to complete the news.
Complete the news.
Okay, we've only got time for one, so I'm going to save the other one for tomorrow's Complete the News. So we've only got time for one, guys. Let's do it. Complete the News. This is a good section. Okay, what do we do here? It's very simple, my friends. I will give you a news headline. I will leave out some important information. Your job is to identify that news headline with the 3 options I give. A, B, or C. So if you're watching in the chat, you're nervous to interact, this is your moment. All you have to write is A, B, or C. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's start with... Okay, I'm going to give you guys a choice. The first answer I see is the one that I'm going for. Do you want Scotland or Norway? Scotland or Norway? Which do you prefer? I've got a piece of news from each. Scotland or Norway? Norway, says Nuria Tam. All right, here we go. We're going to Norway. Okay, here we go. Norwegian Princess quits her royal duties to work with blank fiance. Ooh, this is a job. A fiance has a particular job. Norwegian Princess quits her royal duties to work with her blank fiance. But what is the word? What does a fiance do? Is he A trapeze artist? And those are the people at the circus that they swing on the trapeze, they jump, you know. So yeah, she run away to the circus. A trapeze artist. A. B. A shaman, which is like a witch doctor kind of thing, you know. A shaman. Or C. A social media influencer. Woo! It's a hot one, friends. Norwegian Princess quits her royal duties to work with her blank fiance. But here's her fiance A trapeze artist. Is he B, a shaman, a witch doctor, a master of the spiritual arts? I don't know how to describe a shaman. Or is it C? Is he C, a social media influencer? Oh my gods. What do you think? I'm seeing a lot of answers in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems like a tie between A and C. It seems like a tie between A and C. All right. Let's get a drum roll. And everybody has answered, yeah. So I can't salute anyone. You're all in company. Okay. Let's get a drum roll, friends. Norwegian Princess quits royal duties to work with her shaman fiance. Shaman. Who calls himself a shaman? How do you even phrase that in your curriculum? You know? 2008, 2012, I learned to be a shaman. Whatever. Okay, let's break down this news. Princess Martha Louise of Norway has relinquished her royal duties. By the way, I won that one. That was a tie between A and C. The answer was B. I'll give you congratulations to Gandalf and Ravdos. Well done, guys, for getting the correct answer there. That was a tough one. But I'm going to take it as a win, man. Wins are few and far between, so I'm going to take that one. Princess Martha Louise of Norway has relinquished her royal duties to focus on her alternative medicine business with her fiancé, a self-proclaimed shaman. The 51-year-old princess's relationship with Durek Verrett, a Hollywood spiritual guru, caused waves in Norway after the 6th-generation shaman, so his dad was a shaman, whatever, suggested in his book Spiritual Hacking that cancer was a choice. Oh my god, this guy's an idiot to boot. Alright then, guys, there you go. That was a piece of news from The Guardian. If you're in my Patreon community, you will get a link to all these stories. If you're watching live, you can actually see this in front of your face as well. Guys, friends, what a roller coaster of a show, my friends. Please don't squeeze the shaman, says Ravdos. We have voting buddies. That's true. No one was on their own today. So she's 51 years old and sipping some Kool-Aid. Why not? Why not? Good for her. Thank you, Nurietam. We already have voting issues in Arizona. Something went wrong with the voting machines not counting votes. Oh my god, it started. Friends, be safe out there, okay? Be safe out there, particularly my American friends. Guys, there's an infinite amount of things you could have been doing today, and instead of doing those things, you decided to spend some time with me, and let me tell you something. It means the absolute world. You guys rock, and I'll see you tomorrow.